Hello, welcome. I hope that you are doing fantastic and you are ready to paint and draw and hopefully have a nice conversation. Even though I'm fucking tired, but I have a lot of energy at the same time. So I don't know if it's because I'm very tired and yeah, when you are, sometimes when you are very tired, you are a little bit like hyperactive. So I think I'm a little bit there. So yeah, we'll see. Juan Toledano, buenas noches. Buenas noches, caballero. ¿Cómo estás? Welcome, like always. All right, so let's begin. Sergio Ponce, hello Miguel, how are you? Well, I'm doing pretty good, thank you. Now, to be honest, not that nobody is listening, but yeah, these days I've been doing a little bit down because of the situation in Ukraine, to be honest. Nothing specific about any of relatives and friends, but just like in general. But overall, doing fine. Being very excited with a lot of things that are happening. Still, I don't know if you are. Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess since you are here on the streams, you know that I'm very much on the hype train for Darktide. It's the work that the people at Fat Shark are doing with the trailers is just insane. It's so good. There hasn't been it has been a long time since I haven't seen video game trailers as cool as these ones. I might be biased because I'm a 40k Warhammer 40k nerd, and maybe for somebody that is not into 40k, don't think is that special. But I think they are brilliant. I don't know if you have seen the latest one, but yeah, it's great. Also, kind of funny that they are showing some extra work that was not made public yet. I would share on my social media soonish. Well, actually, I could share here something, but yeah, I should be careful how to share it. But it's been published. But yeah, some pretty in my opinion, and this is very rare because I normally I'm not very happy with the things that I do, but in this case, these illustrations that they are showing now are some that I had so much fun, and I'm pretty happy with them. I'm very how do you say? What's the word in English? I cannot find it, but yeah, overall very happy with the result. I'm proud. Shit, that was the word. I feel very proud, not because they are anything out of the ordinary. It's just that the result it's how do you say good enough, and I had a ton of fun with it with them. So yeah, very happy. Cantabrian, hey Miguel. Cantabrian, how are you doing? How it's going, your Emperor project? I haven't seen anything for a while. So yeah, and also I know there are some things coming up regarding the Darktide that I am very excited about. Of course, I cannot say anything, but yeah, very excited. And yeah, it's really enjoying these very momentary and rare occasions that happens when you work on video games, right? that you spend years working on a project, and when the time for release arrives, is just like a very intense roller coaster of emotions, of tension, excitement, fear at the same time, um, um, and pride as well. If you liked the project, and since these things are not easy to do and take such a long time and so much work and sacrifice, that when it's a little bit like giving birth, right? And even though you do a very tiny part, you are a tiny cog on the whole mechanism to produce these things, but still, you normally get this kind of overwhelming feel of pride of being part of a project, in this case Darktide. And it's those moments that you work for, and is this type of is a time that is just only going to be once for a project, of course, and that you need to savor as much as possible, because once the game is released, it's gone, uh, and you're gonna have to wait many years again for the next thing to be. Unless, well, of course, if you work as a freelancer, as I do now, then that how do you say, um, rhythm of releasing projects is way faster than if you are just in a studio, obviously, because you jump from one project to another. But still, when you are involved for a very long time on a project, as it has happened to me with Darktide, even though I'm not part of Fat Shark, but yeah, it feels kind of that way. And more than anything, I feel, yeah, this side of pride, but even more this sense of gratitude and how do you say, privilege to have been able to join the project, even though I don't work at Fat Shark. So be able to be part of these amazing projects, it's quite a privilege. I see it that way, and yeah. So I'm really enjoying the ride in this final stretch before release, and with each trailer, I see them, yeah, several times, and yeah, and it's this weird feeling between the professional side of things, right? As a professional that I've been working on the project, but also as a fan of and a gamer, and it's just like I cannot wait for this game to be released, because yeah, it's gonna be amazing. So yeah, sorry for this small rant, but yeah, since you asked, yes. Also, Commander Dante, Lord Commander Dante, sorry, has started to walk. So today, so that has been quite a milestone as well. So that it's been quite a joy. So yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Also, today was the first class of my course of this autumn or fall term, and was fantastic to meet my students for the first time. So that was also fantastic. So pretty good, pretty good. If it wasn't because of the fucking war in Ukraine, but yeah, as I said, it's affecting us in a psychological way, I can say. But good that at least there are good things happening in our lives, kind of to look away from the horror of the war in Ukraine. But yeah. Blasful or Blasol. Hola, Miguel. Well, I guess it's Blasol since you are speaking in Spanish. Hola, muy buenas. Espero que no te moleste que siga hablando en inglés, pero como hay mucha gente que no sabe inglés, Dios mío, que no sabe español, pues seguiré en español, en inglés. Pues eso, bienvenido o bienvenida, no sé. Cantabrian, hey man, I'm all good. Emperor project is coming along nicely. I'm getting very deep into the designs and the reasons for them now. Really nice to hear your positivity to your work on Dark Tide. Nice. I'm really looking forward to see something more about it. It's quite a big project, quite a daunting one, if you ask me. But yeah, so far everything looks very promising. So yeah, looking forward. Juan Toledano, Dante, yes. He could have started way earlier, but he could physically do it, but it was about confidence. So always asking for a hand to walk. But today, for the first time, he's been just walking long stretches without any help. So that was quite a nice thing to see. Okay. Enough of my boring stuff, and let's go with painting. Oh, we're stuck in this screen. Let's see. There it is. Okay, so let's continue with our lovely pair of orcs, Nar and Garn, from the Return of the King book. Yeah, and if I continue talking a little bit, if you allowed me about Darktide, I had for some time the soundtrack to listen while working, just to get into the mood. And what can I say? It's absolutely amazing. And I'm so glad that they are sharing more and more tunes to the public now. They've been using them on the trailers, but also they are just sharing like full tunes on YouTube, I believe, of the soundtrack, and it is just amazing. I like it quite a lot. I really enjoy the fact that it's not going into the kind of mainstream assumption of what 40K music could be, with like the mainstream type of epic music, with big choirs and orchestras, and yeah, you know what I mean with mainstream epic music that becomes very repetitive, and yeah, so it has gone in a very electronic side, and in many ways reminds me a lot to Blade Runner original soundtrack, and yeah, it is fantastic. I like it a lot. It's one of the things where I was commenting about being this feel of privilege of having been able to participate in the production of the project, is to see that so much talent, so much love put into it in so many areas that I have no part into it. Um, and But just see the results of that hard labor and sheer love to for it, because you don't do these things without caring a lot, right? And it feels so great, because on the other hand, I have been plenty of times that I have participated in projects where you can see that people really don't care that much. It's like, yeah, people are not so much engaged. It's just a job, so to speak. But in this case, at least for what I can tell from first-person experience and from seeing some of the work, is just that this is a passion project for everybody involved, truly, and that's something pretty rare to see in this day and age. So, and it shows, and it is a fantastic feel to. It's fantastic to see, and I think the guys at Fat Shark deserve all the prize in the world for this, and I really hope that the game becomes a huge success, and that it is acknowledged on the community, the amazing work that the Fat Shark is doing with the game. And again, I'm not part of Farshark, all right? So it's but I think it's fair to give the credit where is due. And I never do this. I have never done this before to this degree. But yeah, if I'm saying this, is because I genuinely feel like that. I've been continuing listening to the reviews of the Rings of Power, especially the reviews of the Men of the West. They are not happy. I can't. They don't see. They don't seem to be very pleased with the series from what they say. And to be honest, from hearing all their reviews so far, it really feels that they have tried so hard to be polite and try to avoid giving any criticism, kind of a little bit too forced. It's like really, yeah, trying too hard. But yeah, they couldn't keep it up, it feels. And again, I know I've been saying this plenty of times, so sorry for repeating myself, but I cannot avoid think about it, and especially on the subject that I was referring to, Fat Shark, and how it feels Darktide to be a passion project, and it's in relation to this with uh, Rings of Power. I know for a fact, a lot of people, colleagues of mine that have worked on the project, they have felt like a huge passion for the project because they love Tolkien, they love the work, and but what they have done with the whole thing is just such a disgrace. So it's so sad, and put to such a waste, the love and passion from so many extremely talented artists that have been working on the project and just kind of wasted. It's yeah, it is a shame. It's very sad. I know I will feel um, very affected by something like this. I know if I would have worked on the project myself, uh, I wouldn't be happy at all with how things has have turned. Cantabrian, to be honest, I can't imagine many other IPs, if any, that would be better than working on a 40k project. The buzz must be great. Yeah, yes, definitely. Even though I have to say that not everything has been, how they say in English, what is the expression for this? It hasn't been an easy ride. Um, so even though you might have, and I mean, just to make it clear, I think I have mentioned this several times. This project has been an absolute dream project, and thanks to Fat Shark people vision, especially Anders, the creative director, and the art director, which are the ones that I'm interacting with, and well, and the rest of the team, of course, that it's just on point. And I know that this project wouldn't have been such an amazing and dream project if it would have been with other people that wouldn't have understood the IP as well as they do. And sometimes, and I know for a fact that this can be so frustrating. You might be working on an IP that you absolutely adore, as it happens to me with this with 40k, right? But it could happen, as I was explaining, with the for the Rings of Power, because I absolutely love Tolkien work, and yeah, and working on known IPs can be very tricky and can be extremely frustrating if they are not managed correctly, and people don't really know how to deal with it. So yeah, sometimes in the back of my mind, I've been thinking about creating some sort of like round table with some people from the industry just to talk about this subject, because I think it's very interesting. I don't know if I will be able to do it, because of course some people might be a little bit reticent to talk about the topic, especially if they are still engaged with those IPs, and they might be hesitant to um, lay some criticism to how difficult and challenging can be working with established IPs, especially if you want to expand those IPs. So yeah, it is not easy, and that's also one of the reasons why I give so much credit for the whole Fat Shark team, because regardless of how amazing the game it's gonna be, I can tell you, because I know for a fact that it hasn't been easy. It has been a huge challenge to pull it off, and something that is not gonna be obvious, because you're gonna see the product and you, of course, you take it for granted. Oh yeah, of course, yeah, great job, but there are plenty of issues that are not obvious for people, especially for those people that doesn't know how the industry works. But yeah, that it can be very tricky, and well, as a proof of this is like how many, for instance, how many 40k games there is out there. There are plenty, right? But most of them suck. That's to prove my point, right? That just because you are working on a game or a project that is based on an IP that you like, can be a poisoned candy, if so to speak, right? That the first glance, oh yeah, but it can turn sour very quickly, because you have that passion, but sometimes it is, yeah, people that you end up working with may not understand things the same way you do, and since you are so passionate about the subject, that can be very frustrating, etc., etc. And that's just one of the issues that might be. But yeah, it would be interesting, I think, and very enlightening to share some experience with some people, talking about these type of things. But yeah, I have some people in mind, but first I will have to convince them, and yeah, I'm not sure that they would like to do it, but yeah, we'll see. Something that I have in the back of my mind. We'll see. Juan Toledano, menudo disparate han hecho. With the Rings of Power, you have seen it, right? I sorry if I don't recall correctly, but wasn't it you one of the people that were kind of okay with it? Like, I guess it was several episodes back. Chibiversity. Hi, good evening, Miguel. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? I'm thinking the arrows should be black. Don't you think? Or black and red, or something like that. Yeah, this topic about working with known and IPs, I find it fascinating topic. Um, I know, yeah, this. I mean, and we're talking about 40K, but how about Star Wars, for instance, right? Um, and like and so on, right? It's I mean, the problem with this type of things is that when you work from a point of view of standpoint of passion, right? But at the same time, you're a creative person. You want to contribute. You want to expand, and um, and sometimes you actually even and you have to deal with people that are trying to be to keep the IP as faithful as it is um, to the established um, uh, visual or well could be well any aspect of to establish IP, right? And sometimes the people that you need to deal with actually don't understand that well the IP. They just see things from a legal point of view. So it's extremely difficult sometimes and extremely frustrating sometimes um, to deal into this type of conversations, trying to convince them that actually it is fine to expand and change or modify things depending on the medium that you are um, adapting the IP for, or or just exploring something that hasn't been explored yet in this universe, or etc. etc. And and yeah, it is one of those things that are not obvious and people don't really think about it, but can be extreme. How could I put it? An extreme burden into the creative process of any project, and that can really seriously jeopardize the success of a project. Uh, and of course, it's something that if you think about it, makes quite a lot of sense, right? From the standpoint of the owner of that IP, if they own that IP, they want to make sure that the IP is kept the way it's supposed to be because that's what made that IP successful, right? So anything moving away from that established elements or definitions that establish that IP as such is something to be kept, right? But and it and it makes sense, right? That they are defensive and that they are trying to be um, as protective as they can be. But sometimes that can be problematic and detrimental for the actual survival of the IP. And again, a great example of that, I think, could be the latest trilogy of Star Wars, for instance, where they kind of butchered the whole IP, or what they are doing with the Rings of Power, for instance. Even though, well, maybe the Rings of Power is not the best example for this because they are completely moving away from anything that it's Tolkien and Lord of the Rings. So, yeah, wrong example. Juan Trelano, yes, I'm watching it. The script and the characters are, how to say, crazy. There are other things very cool. For example, I like the orc designs better than the ones from the Hobbit films. All right, yeah, makes sense. I mean, again, I know several people that have worked, artists that have worked on the series, and I know they are fantastic. And yeah, so there's a lot of talent. It's just that is what, how to put it. Who cares? I mean, from a bigger picture, right? Who cares about the designs of some characters, regardless of how cool they might be and how interesting that might be for me as a professional, but for the average viewer, like, who cares if you have the best character designer in the world working on that and creating these amazing characters, but the series itself is just falls apart and it's unwatchable because it's just, yeah, you just wasted the talent of somebody into something that is not worth it. So too sad. Beep beep beep. I think, in my humble opinion, and of course, plenty of people would disagree with me, but if what they wanted to do is something relatively new, they could have just go with characters that are not well known, or maybe even with known characters, but telling stories that are in between told stories. So you can basically, as far as you stick to the nature of the character and you are faithful to how they are supposed to be, and you tell stories, like spin-offs, and you tell stories that doesn't modify the lore, then why not? It's like a middle ground, and if done correctly, it could work. What happens, you know as I heard that, I think it was Netflix, or I don't know which other platform, that their pitch for getting the rights was to do some kind of spin-off of Aragorn and stories about Aragorn. I don't see a problem with that. Perhaps if the series would have focused into young Aragorn, and stories that kind of make him the man that he becomes in Lord of the Rings, right? To that point, if you do it right and you are faithful and respectful to the nature and spirit of the character, of the original character, then should be fine. And you can be creative as well, right? So I don't know. Of course, I mean, if it's done wrong, well, like anything, then it'd be crap. But I think it would be a less risky move than the things that they are doing at the moment, with just like reinventing the lore of Tolkien, which is a big no-no for me, I think. Juan Juan Trolano, yeah, that's the problem of the show. The technical aspects are mostly awesome, but the problem is the core of the story and the character's construction. Yeah, that's what it seems to be. I mean, again, as you know, I haven't seen it, but just from what people are describing, it seems to be the case. And another aspect that I've been hearing quite a lot is like it's riddled with inconsistencies all the time. They are contradicting some established aspect or logics in the story constantly. That things happen without any explanation, uh, without any context. Oh, by the way, I just forgot. I just received today, late this evening, a package. Very special package that I've been waiting for some time now. I just received it today, and I thought it would be very cool to open it and show you live now what it is. And well, since you are here in this stream, I think you will appreciate what I'm gonna show you. I mean, this yeah. Since you are creative people, you are artists, I think you will appreciate. And I'm very happy about it. Ooh, what's the mystery box? Well, it's not a box, but any guess? But again, I just received it like few hours before the stream, so yeah. Since it was this close, I would have opened it already, but I thought like, yeah, let's do it during the stream. Where are Peter? Hey, how are you doing? Long time no see. How are you doing, man? Creative log. Hi, Miguel. Does your live state uploaded after you finish? My life? Ah, you mean you mean the live stream? Yes, it does. It does. It's my life. Like, am I gonna be downloaded once I'm dead? Or something like that. Yes, yes. Yeah. You have all the streams on the live stream playlist on the YouTube channel. But yeah. Again, any guess about what this package I have received contain? I'm very excited about it. Very, very excited. Cantabrian, what you are describing sounds very similar to the plans for the A Song of Ice and Fire universe. They have some show ideas lined up for potential development. y- really, I haven't heard of it. I think as I have explained, I've been trying to remove myself from the audiovisual adaptations of Game of Thrones because I just want to read everything before watching the series adaptations. So I'm a little bit out of the loop. Uh, but yeah, that would be fantastic. I mean, like the the idea of spin-offs, if they are done correctly, I think are brilliant. Can be a brilliant way uh, to expand and develop known IPs, and not necessarily do the exact same thing all the time. But they need to be done correctly, and it's not an easy thing, truth to be told. Um, but at least, at the very, very least, even if you fail, you are not pissing on the original work, so to speak. So it's kind of allowed to fail. But yeah, come on, guys. Any mojados. Any guess for what this package is? Chibi Versity, a box containing the Ring of Power. Wow, I wish. No, it's way cooler in my opinion. It's way cooler. Creativity Log, Warhammer, Magic the Gathering themed cards. No, it is not, and it's way cooler than that. Again, in my opinion. Yeah. Cantabrian regards the box. I'm gonna say it's an art print from a favorite artist. Yeah, almost Cantabrian, almost. But it's way cooler than that. Way cooler. But almost. Very, 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 very close. Bane. Heimgel, I want to learn how to draw portraits. Now I'm trying to repeat your work, Primark Lionel Johnson. Currently in the middle of the video. All right, nice. Well, good luck with it and enjoy the process. Nice. Please share the results on the Discord channel. If you fancy, of course. Don't feel pressure to do it, but I think it's always nice to share. I mean, the Primark series, I have a strange relation with that series because I never did it too seriously because most than anything, it was kind of an experiment. on trying to do things in just 1 hour, each portrait in 1 hour, with all the constraint that gave me to, yeah. So I never did those portraits like very seriously, like I'm gonna do the best portrait. This is really how I see it. And actually, in many of them, I really, really struggled because I really struggled to kind of find a proper way to depict some of them. So I have mixed feelings with many of them. Some of them I actually quite like. But others are just like, yeah. So maybe I should do. That's another project for the future, perhaps. To do another Primark portrait series 2.0, and this time to do it seriously. But yeah, I mean, some of them I really like, but others I don't like at all. But since I did it, it feels that it has become quite popular to do. So I have seen quite of a lot of takes on the Primark's portrait series. I mean, it feels that I opened a Pandora box. Creativity log. Then must be something very cool. Can't wait. It is very cool. Just okay. Just a few more minutes and I open it. I actually cannot wait to open it. Sergio Ponce Miguel, how it's going with your Patreon project? Well, it's going. It's going. It's going very slowly because I had a lot of client work to do, and again, this is like the main kind of how do you say challenge I have at the moment, and is that okay? In order to be able to kind of dive into the work for the project, I need time, and at the same time, like everybody, I have mortgage. I need to pay the bills, so the time investment, and have a young um, a child, right? So it takes quite a lot of time. So I have a limited amount of time, and at the moment, it's I I don't have enough support on Patreon, which is I'm amazed that and extremely thankful for all of my patrons. But it's still not enough to allow me to spend more time yet. I'm trying to reorganize a little bit my work in order to do a little bit more despite of that. So it's moving slowly. I'm still doing things. Just taking an hour here, half an hour there to do stuff. But it's going painfully slow for what I would like. But hopefully soon I will, yeah, like I said, with these small changes, I will be able to ramp up slightly the time invested on it. But yeah, the ideal, of course, it's more patrons, then more time I would be able to give some love to it, and then start the thing rolling faster and faster. But at the same time, it's shitload of work that the project need. I mean, it's just like a world building effort, and yeah, it's plenty of things to do and amazing stuff also. So it's not a complaint, but yeah, it's just kind of to put into perspective that yeah, it's a big pile of work that need to be done, and that means a lot of time. And yeah, so I'm at the moment I'm kind of struggling with that and trying to find a way to do it. At the same time, I should promote more the Patreon, but that also take time, which I don't have. So it's a little bit like vicious cycle. So yeah. So by the way, if anybody's interested in supporting me on Patreon, yeah, there you go. Check it out. But yeah, it's moving. The few things that I'm doing at the moment, yeah, I'm enjoying it quite a lot, and it's just that yeah, it's a little bit frustrating because I want to spend so much time with it. I have so many cool ideas I want to do, and it's like I cannot dedicate as much time as I would like. But again, hopefully soon I will be able to do a little bit more. I would definitely will have to do some sacrifices when it comes to money. But yeah, in order to afford it, but I'm committed to it, so I will do it. Pablo Valente, thanks a lot for the subscription. Welcome. Bane, I will. Awesome. Creativity log. How can I find your Discord, Miguel? Okay, yes. Let me just share it with you. Give me a second. All right, now here. All right. Is it this? Wait a second. Yeah. Okay. There you go. There you have the link on the chat. Have you thought on doing a mentorship rather than Patreon? Yes, I have, but that's not. But no, I will not do that because, I mean, the purpose of all these things is just to have the time to work on my project. So everything turns around that. That's the objective. If I create a mentorship, that will mean to spend time doing something that is not the project, right? And it doesn't. Yeah. So that's the thing. So it's making a mentorship wouldn't help me in that regard, because if it's about money, then that I have my client work already, so I don't need more. It's I just need to trade time. So yeah, that's the thing. But at the same time, I'm not too bothered about how things are with the Patreon at the moment, because since I have so little material, really, um, to share, so it's I cannot promote too much the project because I don't have that much to show either. So once I have a little bit more material to share, it's gonna be easier to promote the project and hopefully attract more people to join the Patreon and create some momentum. Hopefully. So I'm just playing the patient game, and yeah. So at the moment, most of the things that I'm doing, it's kind of uh, still without losing the scope of the project, but it's also with this intent of marketing material, if you wish. So kind of to make easier for people to understand what is the project about, and making it more engaging. But yeah, I'm in love with this project. Of course, what I'm gonna say, since it's a personal project, but I truly believe it's yeah, it has so much potential. Right, now time to just lower the voice. It's that time. All right, I think now I will open the package. Let's see. So like this is a little bit bigger. So let's see how I can do this. Okay, so here is the package. I guess that this is gonna give you a nice clue of what it is. I need to be careful opening it. Okay, let's see. So well packaged, my goodness. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Well, in case you are watching or you see this by any chance, Phil, you are awesome. Okay. Where is this? Wait, where is it? Wait a second. Okay, here it is. Just been so careful. All right. I don't. Well, the camera is not that good. But this, my dear friends, it's an awesome sketch from Phil Moss. If you, and of course you must know who he is. So it's one of the great artists from Games Workshop. So he has sent me this original sketch of a fantastic and super duper cool goblin. So this is gonna go on my wall for sure. I will just frame it with all some other original work from other amazing artists that I have here. I don't think I have shared with you this before, I think. Let me see. This one is a little bit bigger, but do you recognize this illustration? These are not prints. This is an original one. And just been reshuffling paintings and stuff on the wall, so that's why it's all here on the side. But yeah, so yeah, super happy with this sketch. Phil Moss, he's one of the greatest, and yeah, this sketch is amazing. I love it. It's pencil. Cool, right? All right, let's go back to the painting. So, are you jealous? I have So now it's gonna go on the wall next to two originals of Paul Dayton and one from John Wingley. And now this awesome sketch of Phil Moss is gonna be there next to it. Well, of course, another sketch of Karl Kopinski as well that I have. So yes, having my Games Workshop Wall of Fame display. Andrea, hello, how are you? Hey, Andrea, how are you doing? Welcome. No time no see. Lucius, hey, how are you, man? I am very jolly. Yeah, and yes, Phil is a beast, and he's super cool guy. I will make a photo of the other two illustrations I have on the wall. And I will share it on the Discord, just to give you some more, a little bit more healthy envy. But yeah, those these ones are, of course, this from Phil is just, it's not Warhammer related, but all the other ones are a classic Warhammer 40k illustration classics, originals. So yes, you might recognize them. It took some time to, for the package to arrive. I was starting to get a little bit worried that it would be lost or something. But yeah, that one of the things that I appreciate so much, for example, about the work of Phil Moss, is that he and like other of the awesome people on Games Workshop, that they are not afraid to create and to be creative and expand visually the universe, right? So they are not confined with what is already being done or established, and um, they are able to expand, yeah, basically visually the universe of Warhammer 40k. you can see. I mean, I was just thinking now. That's why I was quiet. I was thinking about this, and is what I appreciate about the guys at the book department, the illustration people, is that you can clearly see that they are not just replicating Warhammer art, but they have an artistic voice, right? They are truly artists, and they have a voice, and they manage to implement that within the confines of the IP, but still with a creative and artistic voice, which is extremely refreshing, and something that, in contrast, you see when you see, for instance, fan art, right? I mean, I'm not trying to to dismiss what people do with fan art, just trying to compare, right? That people that do fan art normally just tend to or try to just replicate, but not to expand, not to add with their vision, still being faithful and within the universe, so not just trying to do something crazy, but and, or not fitting within the universe, but still they like that artistic voice or vision, and these guys do, and they are such an inspiration, and yeah, really, really, really appreciate their work. Creativity log, awesome. Phil is amazing. Yes, yes, he's indeed. He's. I mean, again, I mean, this small sketch of a goblin is testament to that, right? It's just fantastic. It's so love. I mean, obviously, technically, it's just lovely. You know, like such delicate pencil work. Um, but is then the artistic voice, right? The intention, the creative mind behind it, um, which is lovely. Is it has how do you say, even regardless of it is just like a small sketch and not in, so to speak, important. I don't know, like as silly as that sounds, but you see it has some soul, right? And I really, really, really like that. I mean, it's so difficult to appreciate the pencil work on the crappy camera that I have. But yeah, I will do some proper photo. We'll share it later on. But yeah, so happy. Andrea, I'm doing good, thanks. Right now, I was trying to copy your style on a portrait. How do you choose between a smooth transition and a transition with brush strokes? Well, it depends, but generally a good way to do it is that if you have a round and soft edge, roundish, just try to do something smooth. But if there are certain places where it's supposed to be hard angles and deep changes of planes, then try to do more abrupt brush strokes to create that contrast, and that normally is pretty pleasing. I hope that makes sense. I didn't explain that well, I think. Um, Andrea, from what I see, brushstrokes give freshness, but too many of them and it looks patchy. Yeah, I mean, I think, of course, at the end, this kind of assessments comes to a more personal taste. But I think as a general rule of thumbs, if you are trying to portray some surface where the difference is pretty soft, then go with a very smooth transition, right? And play with that contrast with, for example, like a very highlighted cheeks or stuff like that. And going with more sharp transition, then that helps to create a very pleasing to the eye contrast between smooth transitions and more sharp. Cantabrian, it's easier to recycle ideas and tropes. Sometimes that's preferential for the aim of the art piece. Example, practice and developing a confidence. Well, that's for sure. Oh, I don't know if you see here on my back. We have a guest. A guest. Her name is Lotta, and she what's the word in English? Snores. So I was just like, wait, what's that noise? Sonico Probot, saludos, admiro tu trabajo, eres de mis favoritos. Wow. Muchas gracias, eres muy majo o maja. Muchas gracias. Andrea, thanks. I will watch again your time lapse to see if you told me the truth. All right. If I don't, just please call me up on that. Cantabrian. I have found with the Emperor projects I'm working on, I'm really having to think about the reasons for why things are the way they are. Rule of cool isn't enough by itself for an integral character. Well, absolutely. I think people, I mean, now I'm gonna talk from my professional concept art hat on. I see when it comes to character designs, but that's something that can be applied to any type of designs. But let's say on ArtStation, you see so many characters that they are very nicely painted. You know, technically, you see that the person, yeah, is quite capable, but are absolute terrible designs. They have absolutely no idea of uh, design principles. They just like put in things that just they generally look supposedly cool, but they are so out of context. Any type of thought behind it. You just going for the rule of cool. These just look cool. That's it. But it just feels so empty and shallow and failed design. So I think the rule of cool definitely it's a very valuable thing to have in mind. But in my humble opinion and professional opinion is that the rule of cool should be an afterthought. Once you have established a reason for why things are with a logic, with a context, with an objective in mind, right? They are trying to solve a problem. Then you can make a pass. Okay, let's see how cool does this look. And sometimes things that doesn't look cool actually look very cool because they don't look cool. If you know what I mean. So that's also something to be aware of, and something that a lot of people fail at. They are trying to do the cool thing, and by doing that, they are just replicating your like shapes that have been used and reused 100 times, and also that are very fashionable at the time. So people use them quite a lot, and it's not cool anymore. Looks good, but it's not cool. So the rule of ugly is also I just made that up, but the rule of ugly is also cool. Um, of course, it's way easier said than done. It's not easy to pull that up, but yeah. Kantarian, that's what I'm working through now. What I will say is that the armor is dated before the Rangdang's Xenocides. I don't know if you can hear the snoring, but it's quite epic. Maybe the microphone noise cancelling is up. Just canceling the noise, but yeah, she's snoring pretty heavily. But yeah, Cantabrian, awesome. I love that that approach to design. So to make it to give a context to the design, to have a purpose. That's awesome. Just had that. bug where I couldn't. No. Okay, my Photoshop it's bugging. Let me just restart Photoshop. Let me just change here the screen. Well, we are almost finished with the stream anyway, but yeah. All right, there it is. But yeah, it's that's one of those things also that I mean, I'm kind of sidetracking about what you were mentioning, Cantabrian, but that's also always something that surprised me how many people just put the title concept artist, right? When they are not. They might know how to paint, they might know how to draw, but they are not good designers. They don't have a good understanding of design principles and what the things that you need to do. So they are more illustrators, but still they label themselves as concept artists, and you clearly can see on the work that they display that they are not designers, because a concept artist at the end is a designer. That's why some people like it to call, instead of concept artist, like concept designer instead of concept artist. It's the same, but yeah. um, but yeah, it's the rule of cool. It's cool, but it shouldn't be the main driving creative force in your design process. It never should be. It should be, again, like a, yeah, like an afterthought. Um, Andrea, oh yeah, design is something I'm really interested in. I really like what I saw in the book, The Art of Darksider, with a lot of things made by Madureira, sorry. Yeah, Darksider was a super cool game. I mean, you're referring to the game, right? Um, Lucius, I follow the rule of the Ultraman's animation in all my designs. Yeah, of course, it really shows that. That's why it, you rock. I mean, that principle is the one to rule them all. There is nothing that come close to the Ultramarine animations, as we all know, right, Lucius? Cantabrian, I will hopefully be able to show more soon and with it reasons behind my design choices. Awesome. Yeah, really looking forward. Um, really. And I mean, that's one of the things that what makes me enjoy so much this profession, being a concept artist, right? It's not just painting, because painting or drawing at the end of the day is just like the mean to an end, despite of how much I enjoy it. But it's the creative process of creating, of designing. I love it, right? There is so much uh, intellectual work done, right? Uh, Trying to find that logic, trying to solve that problem. That it could be aesthetic problem or narrative problem, or I mean, it could be plenty of things. To have some coherence, some context, some depending on how uh, the nature of the design at hand, to give it some level of how to, what would be the word, to of plausibility, yeah, to make it believable, so to speak. uh, and for instance, that's mm, mainly what I'm doing on my personal project. So that's the thick of the work that I'm doing at the moment, is a world building exercise where the main motivation is to give a sense of believability, that things feel plausible and make sense with a logic, not just for the sake of looking cool. Uh, and if things look cool, which again is not a bad thing, then there is a reason to it, to a certain degree. It's just a side effect. But by the way, Cantabria, I think the take that you are describing for the emperor, I like it quite a lot. Such an intriguing character and so much potential, right? To dive into pre-Imperium times. I think it's actually one of the most appealing side tracks of the Warhammer lore that appeals me the most, like the Unification Wars, or even before. Uh, how, yeah, the type of characters, and yeah, I don't know. I think it's super super inspiring. All right, people. I think that's gonna be it for tonight. Um, um, Andrea, yes, the game, everything is chunky and muscular and enormous, but always cool. By the way, we need a tutorial on how to paint and draw orcs ASAP. Okay, maybe, but I'm not sure about the ASAP aspect. I would like to start at some point a series of videos on YouTube with some general tips for artists. Not so much technical tips about how to paint or design stuff, but more about like yeah, general tips that I find that are extremely important to know, and they are not so. And people don't tend to think too much about those aspects that are kind of parallel to the actual activity of painting, but are extremely vital uh, to know, in my opinion. So it's, yeah, like general tips overall, and to make a series of it. Yes, like explaining a little bit, not too hardcore either, with some time lapse of some of the things that I've been doing on the stream, but just, as you know, I'm recording all the processes, so just like a time lapse on the background, and just talking about these interesting subjects, in my opinion. And I think people would actually get something quite valuable out of it. So yeah, we'll see when I can start doing that, because again, lack of time, too many things, and my priority now it's my projects. But yeah, we'll see. But it is noted about the tutorial about how to draw orcs. Cantabrian, yeah, for sure. I commented earlier, everything needs to be bound by reason more than not. Yeah. I know. Cantabrian, thanks, Miguel. I'm dating the armor earlier Great Crusade, post unification wars, but before the loss of the two legions. All right, fantastic. Love it. I love the idea. So again, really looking forward. All right, people. That's gonna be it for tonight. Thanks a lot, everybody, for joining, for saying hello on the chat, sharing your thoughts. And yeah, like always, an absolute pleasure, and see you next week. Same time. Stay safe, stay healthy, paint, draw, sculpt a lot, have fun. And I will share some of the photos and this stuff that I have around here. All right, take care. Bye bye.